Starting lineups for tonight's game. First, from the visiting college, the Southern Maryland Hawks. 5'4" junior college. Maryland, number 0, Taylor D. A 5'2" guard from Upper Marlboro, Maryland, number 1, Sims. A 5'5"
He looks just like his dad, too. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
5'10" small forward from Clements, Maryland, number 3, Lillian Reynolds. And the 5' guard from Apata, Maryland, number 4, Tia Dixon. The Hawks are coached by Ernest Chambers, assisted by Leah Walker and Cal White. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your CCBC Essex Knights. 5'9" guard from Trenton, New Jersey, number 2, Tiffany Hammond. 5'6" guard from Rhinesburg, Maryland, number 5, Tyler Gray. 5'10" guard from Williamson, Maryland, number 11, Heather Middleton. A 6' guard from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, number 12, Faith Blackstone. And a 6'2" forward, 36 New Jersey, number 33, Bianca Glover. The Knights are coached by Mike C, assisted by Precious Palmer, Therese Cephas, Arthur Fitzhugh, Xavier Cooper, and Najee Norton. Ladies and gentlemen, here at CCBC Essex, we provide a spirit of sportsmanship because of the important component of being a student athlete. We ask that you please refrain from use of profanity and let all spectators remain positive and cheering for your favorite team.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Castle at CCBC Essex. It is sophomore night. The College of Southern Maryland Hawks have come into the Castle to play spoiler on the final regular season game of the season for this Knights team. Starting lineups coming out onto the court now. Only 2 sophomores on the squad this season for the Knights, playing in their final regular season home game. That, of course, being Nay Stanton and Cassandra Hawthorne, both not in the starting lineup today. Back in the starting lineup, though, is right there, number 12, Faith Blackstone. Missed the last game. Gets the first 2 points there. And, man, did the Knights offense really miss Faith. One of the real certified bucket getters on this Knights team. And the offense had its struggles against the Lakers in the half court. No struggle there for the Hawks as they get the baseline jumper, tie it up. Heather Middleton, quick trigger, getting the spot in the starting lineup, excuse me. Saying just a moment ago, the Knights had their struggles in the half court in their last game against the Lakers. Late stages of the third quarter, that game was still very much in the balance. Knights pulled away in the fourth, though. And there's our first official invite to the block party. Bianca Glover got it down low. Hawks Flashing some defense early here. Knights moved to 27-1 with their last victory, their 10th straight win. Second time this year they've had a winning streak reach double digits. 27-1 on the year. Chance to close out with 11 straight victories. And the word around campus is if the Knights can secure the victory here this evening, they might possibly be looking at hosting a playoff game against Catonsville next week. That's in the future, though. What's right in front of the Knights is a cold offense here to start. Faith Blackstone hit the first shot, and the Knights have gone silent since then. Up and around. Hammond with the putback, and the glass is open. When in doubt, use the glass. You miss, the bank doesn't. Hammond gets a hand on it, pokes it away. Hawks hold on to it. Get that ball over. Wanted the 10 seconds, probably should have got it. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Knights running in transition. Quick trigger from Blackstone. It's good. 5 of the 7 points scored so far from number 12. Picking up right where she left off. This time the Hawks, with a couple seconds to spare, couple of really nice passes, getting that ball out of the press. Hammond picks up the blocking foul. Hawks with the inbound. Hammond gets a finger on it again. College of Southern Maryland Hawks come into this game 6-9 on the year. Losers of 3 straight. Looking for space on the inbounds, finding none of it. Instead, Glover with the interception. Faith looking to go the distance, has it stripped at the last second. Second time we've seen the Hawks come up with a last-second resort defensive effort, keeping the Knights out of the scoring area. Catch and shoot! Faith Blackstone heating up here. 8 points in the first quarter. Almost 3 minutes in. Faith the defense this time. Hammond hanging up amongst the trees and finishing through the contact. Solid offense. Beating the really good defense. You can't really draw up the effort defensively on the breakaway any better than the Hawks had it right there. Clogging up the lane, making it difficult, but when Hammond can hang up there, get the friendly roll off the bank. No defense for a perfect shot, so to speak. Hawks doing it again on the inbound. They hit their first shot, and they've gone cold since then. Long three, good closeout defensively. And that'll slow down the Knights in transition. Catch and shoot from Lillian Reynolds on the other side for the Hawks. That was a good look until it wasn't. Almost 4 minutes into the quarter. Knights looking to continue the run. Gray open, knocks it down, and that hit nothing but net. silky smooth. Beautiful display of passing. And you got to get the friendly roll after a couple of passes like that. Swinging it around. Oh, and Glover steals that one. And it's going the other way. Effort was strong on both sides. Hawks made everything difficult there for the Knights, but the Knights just playing big ball. First ones to the orange ball, usually ones coming out with the victories. Easy for me to say. And a timeout taken by the Hawks. They have seen enough here. The run continues for the Knights. These two teams started this first quarter trading baskets 2-2, and it's really been all night since then. 18-4, 5:31 left in the first quarter. Strategy session. All right, we are back ready to play the final 5 minutes and change of the first quarter. Good pass to get through the press. Had the open jumper. Good hit. First sophomore sighting of the night as Cassandra Hawthorne checks in. Ashley Dickey, Takira Lancaster, and Alexandra Wilkinson also check in to the game at the break. Dickey's the first one to get a shot off. Can hit, just a little long. Hawks another chance to stop the run. Here comes the double, around. Hawks will take the three this time and hit on the far corner. And that's one way to stop the bleeding. Knights working in the half court. Not a lot of movement away from the ball. Everybody stacked up on that other side. And Hawthorne politely ask all of us to forget about that one. Black jersey got a fingertip on it, though, last, so it stays here. And since that didn't hit the rim, no restart on the shot clock. Faith Blackstone misses everything as well. Hawks looking to start a run of their own. Someone's got to make themselves available. Double team, and that's a double dribble. And there's the communication amongst teammates afterwards. Some frustration. Angeline Motero got caught in the double team right there in front of the Knights bench. Needed someone to come there for the pass, but it would have been a tough pass to make. Knights get the play from the sideline. Swinging it around. Faith again. This time hits the rim, but is long. 18-7, 4 minutes to play in the quarter. Hawks, another chance to continue the run. cut this game into single digits with a made basket. Long three. Comes off the front of the iron. Hawthorne running, stopping, and finding a teammate on a nice solid pass, but a good rotation at the last second defensively, making it tough. Now the Hawks running in transition and getting no help from teammates or the ref. Other side, Faith. Oh man, the Knights offense has really gone cold. Missing bunnies now. Hammond checks in. That was a tough break there on the miss. And then also the offensive rebound. You had two white jerseys both going after that ball. If one of them talks to the other, the Knights are maybe looking at another offensive possession. Instead, they're both going after it. Hits off both of them. Goes out of bounds. Hawks get a possession. Tough last minute, or last 2-3 minutes here for the Knights. Hammond shuffled those feet before the shot. Man, what a tough break. You go a couple minutes without seeing the ball go into the basket. You finally see one go in, and oh, by the way, it doesn't count because you shuffled your feet. It's a game of runs. The Knights started out with a run in the first quarter, but the Hawks have yet to answer with a run of their own, though their defense has stepped up. One more pass. Great defensive set here for the Knights. They're everywhere, forcing the Hawks into a tough shot. Just over 2 minutes left to play in the quarter. The Knights running again. Lancaster. Open. But the cold streak continues. Oh, what a pass, but Dickey saw it coming. Stepped in front at the last second. Foul line jumper. It is just one of those days. Gray, Middleton, and Glover all check back into the game. Starting five other than Faith Blackistone on the court right now. Or back on the court, I should say, as all these players had checked out at one point and now have checked back in as coaching staff, I'm sure not thrilled about what they've seen over the last 3-4 minutes. The effort is there, open shots, running the offense. The execution just lacking. Middleton. Quick trigger on the pass this time over to Gray. And Middleton had an open shot there, but Gray had a more open shot. Pass up a good shot for a better shot. And there it goes, the defense creating the turnover, and now a run for the Knights, possibly to close out the first quarter. No better way to put the struggles behind you than to create a run yourself. And that was beautiful basketball from the Hawks. Knights got a hand on it right there at the center court. They stuck with it, didn't put their heads down, created a little bit of something out of nothing. Looked like a sure turnover, and now it's their first trip to the line. Though blink and you missed it, the Hawks had a good 3-4 minute run where they had a chance where they were just one basket away from cutting into this lead and make it a single-digit game. It was 18-7 for what felt like most of this first quarter, and now just over 60 seconds to play in the quarter. It is 23-8. Knights maybe putting together a run. Middleton, long three, bouncing around the rim. Hitting the bottom of the net, though. 26-8, under 60 to play in the first. And the floater in the lane. Picture perfect. Oh, all laughs on the bench. Coach Sini getting right there in the middle of the action. Coming up with the steal himself. Don't think you can do that, though. Hawks holding on to possession. 15 on the shot clock. 25 on the game clock. What a pass, and man. Tough break there. Faith gonna take it. And wow. Anything you can do, I can do better, but not of the positive variety. Tiffany Hammond putting that all behind the Knights as she laces the three right before the buzzer beater, right before the buzzer sounds, excuse me. 29-12 is the score at the end of the first quarter. The Knights had their struggles in the first 10, but overall, looking strong here on sophomore night, trying to close out the regular season on a strong note. Some good passing, getting the open three for the Hawks to start the quarter. Coming off the front of the iron, Middleton, same. Knights get the offensive rebound. Oh, what a pass. Cross court from Gray. Beauty of a pass, and Sierra Smith. Say thank you to your point guard. .20 lead for the Knights, largest of the game. Hawks. Again, some good passing, leading to an open shot in the painted area. Tough day offensively continues. Middleton. Banging another one home for three. It's good. Heather Middleton getting the start today on sophomore day, and that combined with the success from downtown, gotta feel good. for Heather Middleton, who's had some struggles this season, but has stayed true with the game in terms of the trigger. Has almost always been quick, and that's what the coaching staff wants to see. Every player, on this team's got a role, and if your role is that of a shooter, his coaching staff wants to see you shoot. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. Put them up, and eventually you'll start knocking them down. Everybody on this Knights team has had their struggles this year scoring the basketball. You look at the numbers game for this team, that's really one of the big differences from last year's squad, the efficiency in which they scored the basketball. Much easier last year, but that's going to be the case when you got the number 1 and number 2 leading scorers in the nation at this level on your team, like this Knights team had last year. Well, you're going to score the basketball at a much higher, a much more efficient rate. Well, this team hasn't had this luxury, but hey, still only 1 loss on the season. Chance to earn a home playoff game here tonight. And the big goal of a repeat trip to the Final Four and finishing the job this year is still very much alive for this team. This season may not have gone the way that the coaching staff and the players thought it was going to. I'm sure they would have loved to have finished the season undefeated. But the big goal still very much alive for this team, and that's what matters. March is here. Everybody is ready for the final push. Middleton, long 3, heat check! Oh my! You couldn't get that smile off Heather Middleton's face right now with a crowbar. And why would you try? The kids are having fun here tonight. Castle's rocking. That was a deep 3. Shot that one from the avenue over at White Marsh Mall. Heather Middleton hit that 3, turned around, got some popcorn. Get your popcorn ready. The Knights flirting with 100 points here tonight. 7 minutes and 7 seconds left in the second quarter. Already at 41 points. Man, you gotta love the way this Hawks team has worked in the half court. I mean, the shots are not falling, but that is the 4th or 5th time we have seen the Hawks just play really unselfish team basketball, move the ball around, pass up good shots for better shots. And that 3 was open on the other side. That's how you draw it up as a coaching staff, but some nights they just don't fall. They're not falling for the Hawks, but they are falling for the Knights right now as they get the 3 on the other side and a chance for another one as the Hawks turn it over. And the defensive effort that we saw from the Hawks in the first half has not translated over here into the second. Though how much of that is the effort from the Hawks and how much of that is just the shots that weren't falling for the Knights are falling now. As Dickey lost a shoe in the process. I think everybody was scared for a moment that it was a little worse. Then you realize that she not only shook the defender away from her, she shook herself right out of her own shoes. Talk about shake and bake. Tie those shoes a little extra tight. Almost 4 minutes into this second quarter, and the referee's having a good laugh at that one. That was a nice move and a nice take to the cup from Ashley Dickey. Screen was coming on the other side. She went away from the screen, just put her head down and took it right to the basket. I like to see number 10 play with that aggressive style. Don't settle for stop and pop jumpers. Take it right to the cup. I mean, if you're going to shoot a jump shot, it might as well be at the foul line where no one can block it, right? Take it to the basket, initiate the contact. I mean, because if you're Ashley Dickey, think about it, you're going to get, let's say, 4 points at least a game on steal opportunities. So if you can add another 4 or 5 trips to the line to that, now all you need to do is hit 2-3 jump shots, and you're already flirting with 15 points. I mean, because saying that she's going to get 4 opportunities or 4 points on the steals, that's really generous. We've seen Ashley Dickey multiple times be a real nice spark plug defensively for this team, whether it is in the starting lineup or off the bench. As we see Dickey there again with a nice defensive move. Not all on her that time, but staying right there on the hip, forcing the defender into the spot where she knew the help was. Lancaster coming from one side and Middleton coming from the other. Pick your poison, where you want to go. There's a double team either way. Solid defensive team effort there from the Knights. Hands up, hands up. Hawks working in the half court. 3 in the corner, good closeout. What an open shot for the Hawks there. Dickey running, Hawthorne catching it on the second effort. Glover, no and one, but a trip to the line. Hawthorne needed some stickum there. Catch that on the first go-round. It was an over-the-shoulder catch from Hawthorne. Dickey trying to find the sophomore in transition. Love to see the effort, though, from the Knights on the second go-round, as he had 2 players crashing the offensive boards, looking to get a putback opportunity. As Glover goes 1 for 2. And a timeout taken on the court. We are going to take one, too. Just over 4 minutes left in the first half. And sophomore night is going the Knights' way so far. And the action about to resume on the court. And while we have this break in the action, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you at home for joining us on this Wednesday evening. And thank you for joining us all season long. I know it's a little bit of a sad note here on today's game since this is the final regular season game of the year here at the Castle. Always a little bit of a bittersweet moment. You know, there's excitement in the air given what is still in front of this team or possibly in front of this team, but also a little bit of sadness that the season that much closer to being over. And the fans here at CCBC Essex, who have been great all season long, maybe possibly their final chance to see the team here tonight. Hawthorne, nice move, creating some space initially, but the Hawks staying with the ball carrier, not making it easy. Hawthorne trying to shuffle that pass over at the last second. Instead, it'll be a little bit of a regroup session here as the Knights take it on the inbounds now. You know, no move is sometimes a move. As you saw Hawthorne knocking down the jumper on the inbounds, but what I was saying by that, a little hesitation move creating just a little bit of space. You know, sometimes no move is a move, is getting the defender to stop and then react to your secondary movement. Be enough to Coach Cini calls for the swing on the sideline, but there was no one to swing it to. No one was over on that far sideline. Maybe an omen for that offensive possession, as it was laughs and then it was, well, then it was over. Whistle going the other way. Hawks 51-15, nightmare second quarter for them. Pull up three. Oh, what a save opportunity. Effort gets you mighty far in life, and it'll get the Hawks 2 points on that possession. That's the stuff that bring a coaching staff to their feet, put a smile on their hearts. Hawthorne. Pull-up jumper. Glover, no good on the putback. Third effort. And a double dribble. So Hawthorne with the initial jumper. Glover with a putback opportunity. Lancaster with a putback opportunity. Glover with one more just for good measure. And still the Knights come up empty-handed. 51-17. Hawks. Three. Oh, man, back-to-back air balls here for the Hawks. Tyler Gray and Tiffany Hammond both check back into the game. 151 ticks left on that clock here in the first half. And we are ways away from where we were about halfway through the first quarter, where the Hawks had a good 3-4 minute run where they were just one basket away from turning this into a single-digit game. Since then, it has been all Knights. It was 18-7 for a good 2-3 minutes. Scoreboard up there reads it all. 51-17. Tyler Gray, what a pass! And the pass is always prettier than the shot. At least that's what my dad used to say. And I think that time Papa was right. What a pass from number 5. That's not who that pass was intended for, I don't think, but it almost worked out beautifully for the Hawks. Glover. Please forget all about that one, she says. Just over a minute left in the first half. Hawks take over after the miss. 53-17. Good pick set. creating some space, initially at least. Good rotation by the Knights, minimizing that space quickly. And the Hawks certainly knew that they were in for a tough day at the office. Only 5 players available for the coaching staff here in this game. So this 5 that started this game will be running the entire 40 minutes of this game. That's tough for anyone to do, but particularly against this Knights team. Doesn't give you anything easy defensively. And then, of course, all the drive and kick opportunities that they create for themselves offensively. And, man, that is kind of a microcosm of what kind of day it has been so far for the Hawks. They had that turnover there right in front of them, and then they kicked it away. Solid effort, just $1 short. Middleton picking up right where she left off before she checked out. And Middleton is having herself a day here on sophomore night, stealing the show from the sophomores Cassandra Hawthorne and Nay Stanton. Though Nay has been playing off-Broadway here today, has not checked in today. Gray, Hawthorne. Stop. Give it right back to you. Oh, Shackton a fool. 2 misses from Tyler Gray, and then she puts it in at the last second. A buzzer beater. That really shouldn't have been. 58-17. The clock has hit triple zeros on the first half. And these two teams will be back out onto the court after this short break. What will the second half have in store for these two teams? Well, you are going to have to stick around with us and find out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the castle here at CCBC Essex. We are just moments away from starting the second half. Aaron Thomas still in the broadcast booth, bringing you the action here on sophomore night. Oh, good pass. That's triangle offense. Middleton down to Glover. Get the double on the big down low. Kick it right back out. If you didn't know, Coach Saney, a Lakers fan. The old school Phil Jackson offense right there. Picture perfect. The ball will always move fast than the defender can. Faith Blackstone takes it. Glover looking to put it back. Faith says, I'll try that. Everybody misses. Hawks looking to be the first one to get a basket here in the second half. Good defensive set to start here. The Knights have been everywhere. Effort gets you mighty far in life, though. Hawks just put their heads down, take it to the cup, earn the trip to the line. Banged knees, though, on the way there. That's got to hurt. Yeah, everybody knows about hitting your funny bone on your elbow. No one ever really talks about how hard it hurts when you bang your knee up against something. Whether it's the cabinet when you're walking by something at your house or knocking knees at somebody on the court or field. Never feels good. It's like the lower body equivalent of getting the wind knocked out of you. Faith. A tough break for Faith Blackstone's offense here. 8 points to start the game. They've gone a little cold here since then. Someone who has not been cold, though, Heather Middleton, as she laces the first three of the second half. What a defensive effort from Blackstone. Can't get the offense to fall. Love to see the effort on the other end. You got to play both sides in this game. That'll ensure you stay on the court when it matters. The attention to detail and the effort. There is a great deal of skill involved in being a great defender. I don't care what sport it is. You have to have skill. And there's a great deal of skill involved in being a great defensive player. As Faith Blackstone shakes that off and hits the three. But beyond skill, it's effort on the defensive side of the ball. It's the bus stops here. It's that mentality of you are not going to beat me. And then you get beat. Okay, you beat me. You're not going to beat me again. Okay, you beat me again. Well, you're not going to beat me that way again. It's finding the challenge every single time down the court. That is what makes a great defender. There's a lot of players out there who can put together a great defensive set or maybe one or two great defensive sets. But what separates really high-level great defenders is the willingness to put that together possession after possession, night after night, game after game, season after season. And there's a reason that great defensive players in the NBA don't have long careers. Now you look at a guy like Gary Payton. He played a long time. Went from the 90s into the 2000s, but wasn't the same player, didn't have the same longevity as some of the other players from his generation, and that's because he was banging bodies night in and night out. He's putting the body on the line on the more physically taxing part of the game. Though I do think that has changed when it comes to basketball over the last 10 years. I think the offensive game, particularly at the highest level, has become almost just as taxing physically as the defensive side, particularly if you're committed to playing at the highest level the way you should be playing. In terms of when you look at these shooters who are running around 1,000,001 screens every game, okay, that may not be taxing on your body in the same way that banging down low is on the boards or battling defensively, but that's still taxing on your body. When you're running around screens and getting hit on those screens as well. I mean, the game is just sped up so much at the highest levels. Game speeding up here for the Knights as Faith Blackstone is heating up. 8 points in the first quarter, now 8 in the third. She gets the 2 points after the back-to-back made threes. And that's what it's like when you got a certified bucket on your team, like Faith Blackstone. Had the hot start in the first quarter, slowed down about midway through the first quarter, went cold in the second. And then here she is heating up once again as she's got 10 unanswered points. I said it earlier in this game in the first half, getting your shots up is a numbers game. And when you have got the skill, look, if they're not falling, just keep shooting. Moving it around. Hammond with the open shot. Gray wants the offensive rebound and gets it on the second touch, but it is Faith Blackstone's quarter, as that is now 12 in a row for number 12. Tiffany Hammond checks out of the game, as well as Tyler Gray. Kiki Walker and Ashley Dickey both check in to the game for the Knights in this third quarter. Just a little over 5 minutes has been played in this third quarter so far. Driving baseline, and Glover sticking with the offensive player there for the Hawks. That was a nice defensive move. On the one-on-one effort, Kiki Walker saying thank you to Middleton, who picks up the assist. Walker with the three. And the Knights really flirting with that 100-point mark now. 4 minutes left in the third quarter, already at 80 points. And oh my, silky smooth. Can't draw it up any better than that. Green light for all my 2K players out there. And that was a solid closeout defensively from Heather Middleton. That wasn't an easy look at the basket. Hawks looking to make it a run here after the turnover from the Knights. 6 in a row. It will not be, as Middleton gets the rebound after the miss off the front iron. Dickey in and out, loses it, tries to get it back. Oh man, that would have been spectacular. Two in a row from Kiki Walker off the bench. Kiki's three there, a great example of why patience is a virtue. Kiki was open for about 5-6 seconds there. Stayed patient. Teammate found him. 3 points for number 1 off the bench. That's 6 in a row from Kiki. Speaking of patience, Hawks playing with a little patience there, throwing it off the Knights player. Working on the inbounds, 15, pull-up jumper right in front of the shoulder, just missed. Dickey with the rebound. Knights running. Lancaster missed everything on that 3 attempt. As the Hawks take over again, I want to take this opportunity to thank our good friends at Chick-fil-A Nottingham Square, catering the event here as they have all season long. Not just at the basketball games, but they were with us in the fall through the soccer season, and they'll be with us in the spring as well. The end of this women's basketball season means means baseball and lacrosse right around the corner. Baseball season is actually already started. Couple of double headers under the belt of the baseball team already. If you want to follow lacrosse and baseball this season, and also the women's basketball team as they start the playoff run here in the next couple weeks, best place to do that is CCBC Essex Athletics.com. You can also follow the action on Instagram and Twitter, as there's always updates on the social media page about all the action around campus when it comes to the sports action. That is solid offense. Hawks just kept moving, kept passing, got the open shot, just couldn't finish. Dickey with no problem finishing in transition. Old Fred Durst said it best back in the day. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. I'll let your cool uncle finish it. He knows the rest of the words. Hawks beat the Knights down the court that time. They were the first ones there. Pass just a little bit too far out in front, and it's a missed opportunity. Just one of those days. And it's a tough break if you're the Hawks, but also, one, you got to love the effort. They have continued to fight, and they have fought from the opening whistle. But also, take some comfort in the fact that the Knights, they've been a buzzsaw team for a few years. I mean, how many times, if you've been following Coach Sini's run as the head coach with the Knights since he took over a few years ago, how many times have you seen games like this where the Knights, they were just a buzzsaw for another team that came in here to the Castle with high hopes and nice expectations, and then, oh, wow, this team, well, they come here to play. Defend home court. Coach Sini a minute and 9 seconds away from starting the fourth quarter here in the regular season finale. Things continue the way they're going right now. It looks like they're going to. The Knights will finish the season with just one loss in the regular season, which means put last season and this season together, and Coach Sini's squad only has one loss in the regular season. 2 losses over those 2 years, as last year's team undefeated all the way to the Final Four. This team lost their hopes for an undefeated season at the turn of the new year. The calendar hit 2023, and the Knights suffered their first loss of the year shortly after that, and they have put that behind them and rallied off 10 straight victories since then. Shot clock is turned off. Knights can hold for the final shot here in the third quarter if they choose to. Kiki, quick trigger! 9 points off the bench for Kiki Walker in the third quarter. Buzzer beater from the Hawks. Man, that looked really good until it wasn't. Realized it was offline. And the effort stays solid here in this game from both sides. Just a tough day at the office for the College of Southern Maryland Hawks as they will be going into the fourth quarter down 95-31 when we come back. All right, we are back and ready to start the fourth quarter. Final 10 minutes of the regular season for this Knights team. Final 10 minutes of what was a nightmare trip to the castle for this Hawks team. But like I've said all game long, you got to respect the effort that you've seen from this Hawks team. The frustration starting to set in. You saw that as they were coming off the court at halftime. Again, a little bit more as they were coming off the court in the third quarter. And a frustrating break when the game goes this way and you only have 5 players coming into today. You know it's going to be a tough one. But the effort has been there all game long. And a big part of that is the coaching staff, but at the end of the day, the players got to play, and the Hawks came to play. And they have not let the numbers game discourage them, as you saw the great passing leading to another good look at the basket for the Hawks. We've seen that a few times here in this game. The real problem for them is they just haven't been able to hit enough of those shots. Let's say if the Hawks had come in here and had a game where they went gangbusters shooting the ball and hit, let's say, above 50% of their shots, I think we'd be looking at a much, much different game here in this one, because the Hawks have had a lot of open shots in this one. And a lot of that has to do with their effort offensively and their commitment to moving the ball as a unit and as a team. Really not much you can do when you're not hitting the shots, as Hawthorne earns the trip to the line. That's one thing we could definitely say about this game is up until now, the clock had been moving through most of this game. I feel like this is the longest stretch we've had in the game with the clock stopped continuously, so to speak, as we had a foul on the other side just moments ago. These two teams have done a good job of playing defense without fouling. 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. 50 seconds into the fourth quarter. And I'll take this time to thank all of you at home once again. It has been a joy bringing you women's basketball action here live from the Castle once again. Third full season of women's basketball action here at the Castle. Had that inaugural season back in 2019 that was cut short due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Missed a full year, no basketball, came back last year strong. Undefeated regular season and a trip to the Final Four. Two leading scorers in the nation on this team at this level. Multiple players going on to four-year schools from last year's team. And we've seen some of those players come back around campus, which is a big shout out to the coaching staff, because they certainly don't have to do that. Once they leave these doors here at the Castle, they don't have to come back. But coaching staff really makes this team like a family. And that's why you've seen some players like Patty Anumba come out and check out some games here at the Castle. May not be a part of Coach Sini's squad, but still one of his players. As we see Ashley Dickey with a nice find there. Great pass. Knights now just 2 points away from hitting that 100-point mark. Three laced on the other side. Oh, what a block! Knights on the second effort. Emphatic invite to the block party, though, sent out initially from Lillian Reynolds. Ashley Dickey may have sent out an invite to the block party there. Ten on the shot clock. Hawks got to go. Driving baseline right into the body of Hawthorne. Double trouble on that rebound. Who's going to get credit for that? Had two sets of hands. 4 hands in total. You can see math was never my strong point. So it looks like we're going to go all of sophomore night without a Nay Stanton sighting. What did I tell you about Ashley Dickey getting free points off defense? Defense to offense with some urgency. And you saw the bench was ready to come up. They wanted to come alive for that Euro step. The move was pretty, but the finish, not so much. Ashley Dickey trying to show her teammate how it's done. Knights have now passed that century mark, sitting at 104 now. Cassandra Hawthorne checks out of the game, so does Dakira Lancaster. Kiki Walker, Bianca Glover both check back in. Is that the last time we see Hawthorne in the regular season? If it is, what a career here at CCBC Essex for the sophomore Cassandra Hawthorne. Real nice spark plug player off the bench for last year's Final Four team. Kind of more of a defensive role on last year's team. This year, still a spark plug off the bench, but asked to do much more offensively. and showed some real growth on that side of the ball this season. Multiple times this year we've seen Cassandra Hawthorne check into the game and be really a bucket for hire off the bench. One of those games being the last home game for the Knights. She came in and hit a couple of really nice jump shots and a couple of three-pointers in that big game against the Lakers, where the Knights offense had several stretches where they went cold and looked to Hawthorne to carry them, so to speak. And at this level, you're never going to have a lot of sophomores on your team. There's always going to be turnaround and turnover every year as Glover fights for the position down low, earns the trip to the line. So you may not have a lot of veteran leadership on your team, but when you can have a few players that have been here, done that, not just at the collegiate level, but here at the collegiate level, that could be a real help for your team. Cassandra Hawthorne played that role very nicely this year, as well as Nay Stanton. Showing some versatility as well. I'm sure there's some coaches at some four-year schools that are going to take a look at the footage that Cassandra Hawthorne and Nay Stanton put together over their 2 years here at Essex and really be happy with what they see, because what I said for Cassandra Hawthorne could also be true for Nay Stanton, who played a much different role on last year's team. A defensive stopper like Hawthorne, but also kind of a third banana offensively, playing off of the two leading scorers in the nation in Lyric Swan and Patty Anumba. Nay Stanton was kind of the third banana in that situation, playing off of those two players very nicely, finding a really nice rhythm for herself towards the end of last year. And when the announcement was made that she was coming back for this year, I think everybody was excited to see what kind of role she'd have on this team. And surprised to no one, she's been somewhat of a captain on this team. Big-time contributor defensively. I mean, how many times have we seen Nay Stanton come up with big charges? But also, like Cassandra Hawthorne, taking on a bigger role offensively and stepping up to that challenge, as Nay Stanton at several times this season has been a big contributor on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's driving the ball or shooting the ball from distance. Nay has filled up the stat sheet this year offensively. Successful sophomore season for the two sophomores on this squad. A successful season so far, at least in the regular season. And the coaching staff and the players will celebrate after tonight's victory, 3 minutes and 45 seconds away from finishing up the regular season on an 11-game winning streak. But that celebration will be short and sweet, but short. Emphasis on the short, because the big goal is still right around the corner. And do you want to celebrate now or do you want to celebrate later? Well, I'd like to eat my cake both times, if possible. Have my cake and eat it too, I think is the phrase that I was looking for. And they've certainly earned the right to do that. I think what the goal should be here for the Knights, they should have some cake tonight, and then when they finish the big goal, they should have some ice cream cake. Because ice cream cake is superior to regular cake, so you're moving up the cake ladder. You have some regular cake tonight, some ice cream cake after a return trip to the Final Four, and then it's caviar and lobster if you can finish the whole thing off. I'm sure Coach Cini would be happy to fit the bill for a nice dinner if they could win the whole thing. Don't tell him I said that, though. I know some people may shy away from talking about, the end goal in terms of being a championship, but I think championship level teams talk about how their goal is to win the championship. Obviously, they also understand and appreciate the fact that it's the process of earning the right to compete for a championship that really truly makes you a champion. But I don't believe in being shy about what the end goal is. You should want to be the best. Now, you're not a failure if you're not the best. But if you're not trying to be the best, what are you trying for? So the Knights should be proud of what they've accomplished so far, but they should also not be shy about how this is just part of the journey for them. This is just a part of the process. Dickey, long three. Glover, the putback. And another trip to the line. Now, I don't know what he was referencing, but I just heard Coach Cini talk about the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Sometimes that's a negative, but also some of the most successful people have an insane streak to them. You think about the type of person that you have to be willing to show up at the gym every day and put in your work at an early point. You start early, you end late. To your average person, there's an insane element to that. I'm a big believer of you have to find your form of torture. You have to pick your form of torture. And that exists in all things, whether that's your hobby, your professional career, your personal life. It's never always going to be great. It's never always going to be bad. It's the yin and yang of life. And if you can choose your form of torture, choose one that suits you and your interest and your professional or personal goals, well, then it's just you and that thing. I'm sure there was a lot of people out there when Kobe was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, putting in his work at the gym, trying to get better. I'm sure there was lots of people in his life saying, Kobe, you're already Kobe. Why do you need to continue to work? They probably looked at him like he was insane. But it's one thing to earn the right to be there. It's another thing to earn the right to stay there. And it's another thing entirely to earn the right to be the best. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk here tonight. The Knights have earned the right to be the best in their region and conference in the regular season. Looking to earn the right to do that in the postseason. 1 minute and 10 seconds away from that opportunity being right in front of them. 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the regular season for this Knights squad. I'll take this time again to thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday evening. and for joining us all season long. What a successful season, or regular season, it has been for this Knights team. How successful will the season be? Only time will tell. Like I said earlier, the rumor around town, around campus, was that the Knights could be looking at a home playoff game next week against Catonsville. They handle their business here today. Well, they handled their business. We'll get the official word on if they get that playoff game against Catonsville at home later this week. So check out the CCBC Essex Athletics website for updates on the year. Check out how the postseason goes for this Knights team. And check out how the spring season goes. Basketball coming to an end here, but we're headed back outside. Baseball and lacrosse season right around the corner, and I know I speak for everyone here at CCBC Essex when I say excited to bring you the action from the diamond and the turf. Selfishly, my favorite part of the year is the spring season because you got the start of baseball, and then you've got playoff basketball right around the corner, and it doesn't get any better than that for me when it comes to professional sports. Yeah, a chance to watch the Celtics maybe win an NBA championship. I know Coach Cini doesn't want to hear that. What Coach Cini does want to hear is that his team secured the victory here on sophomore night. Final score 117-43. It is a 28-1 regular season for Coach Cini's squad. Congratulations on them, to them, on a tremendously successful regular season. What will the postseason have in store for them? Well, you're going to have to stick around with us and find out. Check out the CCBC Essex website for updates on a potential Knights playoff home game next week. Update on that will be sometime later this week. Until then, Aaron Thomas, thanking you for joining us this season, and I hope to see you again in the spring. Until then, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.